Are you a first-time home buyer? Or has it been a long time since you've bought a property? This video is for you. Hi, I'm Michele Replogle with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I'm going to talk about 5 tips today that it's good to know when you are writing a contract, or you're just getting into the process of writing a contract, or just even looking at buying houses. Now I'm going to go a little backwards, so stay till the end, because some of the information I'm going to bring up front is just because it's the most common question that I get, and that is, when do I get keys? How long does it take? Well, there's 2 things. First, it's how long does it take to buy a house? Well, that depends on your motivation. If you have a landlord who said, you know what, I'm going to sell this house, or I'm going to let my daughter live here, you got to move. Well, that ups the ante pretty fast, and buyers get real motivated and things start looking a lot better to them than they did when they weren't so motivated. And then there's other buyers that have a great house. They just think they might want a little bit more. They may take longer. It can take years. It can take a couple months. But typically, when a buyer gets very interested in purchasing a property and getting in that new property, it's about 45 to 60 days. A little longer if the market's really hot, but that's basically what it is. Now, to get keys, you've negotiated for a house, you've gone through the contract and all the other processes. That's 30 days. There are a lot of other factors that play in, but that's typically what we see. Like, I would say 90% of all sales fall in that 30-day category. So you negotiate your contract, and on day 1 of that contract to day 30, that's when you get keys. Now, there's different loans, Veteran Administration Loan, VAs, or FHA loans, which are Federal Housing Administration. Those can take a little longer, but actually their processes are pretty good too. So figure about 30 days and maybe about a 60-day process to get it all going. Also, another common question is, what is an earnest money deposit? Well, that's not something commonly talked about much, right? You don't go on Craigslist and decide you're going to buy an electric guitar and go, hey, I can't pick it up till Saturday. Can I give you an earnest money deposit? No. Who even talks about that? Who says that? Really, just in real estate is where I've ever heard it. And that's where you promise to the seller, hey, I'm going to put some money into escrow just to let you know I'm good for it and I'm really interested in the property. Because you know that earnest money deposit, that 3% of the purchase price that we use here in California and in Santa Cruz County, that's just giving the seller an indication of motivation and how you're going to move along. So basically right now, the contracts state you have 3 days, but the current custom right now is within 1 day. And if the seller sees you performing within that 1 day, they know they have a good motivated buyer that helps them get their ducks in a row to get them moving as well, because they're like, oh, I got somebody who's gonna go and I gotta go. As a buyer, you should understand that you are going to be asked if you've read the disclosures. What are disclosures? Well, there's a couple different kinds. There's the seller disclosures, which is the seller's property questionnaire, SPQ. TDS, transfer disclosure statement. Those are the seller disclosures. That's where the seller is actually writing down, checking boxes, telling you about the property, what they know about it. Then there's the home inspection, the termite inspection. In the San Lorenzo Valley, that would be the septic inspection, or possibly a well, or any other inspection that needed to be done to give the buyer information to make a really good qualified offer. A lot of them are repeats. A lot of them are just basic, what I call boilerplate. They're just kind of a printed document and somebody signs at the bottom. But a lot of them are well researched. There are disclosures that the city, the county, and the state have researched, bundled up, and packaged for you to make sure that you understand the area that you are buying in. One other thing you need to know, appraisals cost more than they used to. If you're talking to a friend or neighbor, they're going to go, oh, that my appraisal, you know, it's $500, no big deal. Because you're probably going to say, does yours cost $2,000? And they're going to be like, what? Well, we hit an appraisal snag this spring in 2021. We had a refinance of current mortgages, and then we had new mortgages on new home purchases, and it just crashed the appraisal market. Now, we don't have a lot of new appraisers entering the market. market. So what we did is we just stretched thin who we had, and those people just cherry picked what they wanted to work on. I mean, it's not a crime really, right? They just said, well, this one will be an easy one, I'll take that one. And the harder, longer, more difficult appraisals got left on the shelf. So what did that do? It increased the price so we could get them done on time. So just keep that in mind. It's going to cost a little bit more. I might be an appraiser someday. Maybe that's something I could do. Also, don't buy anything expensive when you are qualifying for a loan. Don't buy a boat, a car, anything crazy, open a huge credit card. I was party to a contract where the buyer bought a boat. Yep, $70,000 boat. And it wasn't a big purchase either. And the lender put the skids on the whole thing. They had to go back and requalify this buyer for everything. School loans, credit cards, any other debts they had. Now they had to put a boat on top. That makes them go back and redo the whole process. Those are things that you need to know when you're a buyer. If you need any more information, and I do have a video on appraisals, which I recommend, who they're for, what do they do, but also subscribe so you can get more tips and tricks being a buyer or a seller, or just learning more about buying in Santa Cruz or more about selling. I am here for you. So all my information is below. And I also have a podcast I invite you to subscribe to. It's actually a lot of fun as well. It's called the Realtor Lady Podcast. I look forward to seeing you soon.